हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू NIOS एजुकेशन पॉइंट। आज की इस वीडियो में हम लोग जा रहे हैं सॉल्व TMA बायोलॉजी का, जिसका कोड है 314। उसका हम लोग TMA सॉल्व करने जा रहे हैं, मतलब कि TMA सॉल्व TMA हम लोग डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं। ये अप्रैल एंड अक्टूबर 2023 बैच के लिए है। तो बिना किसी देरी किए चलिए हम लोग शुरू करते हैं। यहाँ पर हम लोग का आंसर्स है, आप लोग देख सकते हैं। ये आपके पास भी होगा TMA का क्वेश्चंस। तो चलिए हम लोग शुरू करते हैं। हम लोगों ने 1 का ए चूज किया है, वो है एक्सप्लेन द टर्म डिफरेंशियल रिप्रोडक्शन इन 2 स्टेप्स। तो इसका आंसर है differential reproduction refers to the process by which certain traits or characteristics are more or less likely to be passed down to future generations. Here are 2 steps to understanding this concept. Number 1. In any population, there is variation in traits among individuals. For example, in a population of birds, some individuals may have longer beaks while others may have shorter beaks. Number 2. Some of these traits may make an individual more or less successful at surviving and reproducing, which is known as natural selection. For example, a bird with a longer beak may be more successful at finding and accessing food, which could make it more likely to survive and produce. On the other hand, a bird with a shorter beak may have a harder time finding foods, which could decrease its chances of survival and reproduction. As a result of this process, the traits that are more beneficial for survival and reproduction are more likely to be passed down to future generations, with the traits that are less beneficial are less likely to be passed down. This is known as differential reproduction. इसके बाद हम लोग चलते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 के। तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में हम लोगों ने बी चूज किया है, और वो है Why does a cell remain stable when placed in acetonic solution? What happens to it if placed in a hypotonic solution? इसका आंसर भी है हमारे पास। When a cell is placed in an acetonic solution, it remains stable because the concentration of solutes on both sides of the cell membrane is equal. This means that the solute concentration inside the cell is the same as the solute concentration outside the cell. So there is no net movement of water across the membrane. उसके बाद यहाँ पर है if a cell is placed hypotonic solution, the concentration of solute outside the cell is lower than the concentration inside the cell. This is because of this causes water to move across the membrane into the cell, causing the cell to swell and possibly burst. On the other hand, if a cell is placed in the hypotonic solution, the concentration of the solutes outside the cell is higher than the concentration inside the cell. This causes water to move out of the cell, causing it to shrink. उसके बाद हम लोग का आता है क्वेश्चन नंबर 3। तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 में हम लोगों ने ए चूज किया है, और वो है, इसका भी 3 का 3 पार्ट्स है। देख सकते हैं आप यहाँ पर 2 men, ये नंबर 3 का ए का 1 है। 2 men were claiming to be the father of the child named Mohan. Suggest to them a conclusive method to identify the real father and the name enzyme required to make copies of the piece of DNA and PCR in the required in the process. Number three है a farmer is growing transgenic cotton. How it is different from ordinary cotton. तो चलिए हम लोग इसका आंसर भी देख लेते हैं बिना देरी किए. तो इसका आंसर है नंबर वन का वन वे टू आइडेंटिफाई definitely determine which of the two men in the biological father of Mohan is through DNA paternity testing. This involves collecting DNA samples from the alleged father, the child, and the mother, if available, and comparing the genetic markers in their DNA. If the alleged father's DNA matches that of the child, then it is highly likely that he is the biological father. Number two, in order to make copies of the piece of DNA for PCR, polymerase chain reaction, an enzyme called thermostable DNA polymerase is required. This enzyme is able to withstand an high temperature, the high temperature that are used to denature the DNA strands during the PCR, allowing it to continue synthesize the new strands for DNA. Number three का है transgenic cotton is a type of genetically modified cotton that has been modified through the insertion of genes from other organisms into the genomes. This is typically done to introduce new traits or characteristics into the cotton plant, such as resistance to pest or tolerance to high herbicides. Transgenic cotton is different from ordinary cotton in that it contains genes from other organisms that are not naturally found in the cotton plant. तो हम लोग का क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 भी यहाँ पर खत्म हो गया है. तो हम लोग चलते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 में. तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 में हम लोगों ने बी चूज किया है और वो है उसका भी 2 पार्ट्स है जैसे कि आप लोग देख सकते हैं. ये वन है इन विच ionic form is it is taken up by plants and from where in the environment. Number 2, mention any 5 organic biomolecules which they synthesize using the nitrogen. तो इसका है नंबर 1 का nitrogen is taken up by the plants in the form of nitrate ions NO3 and aluminum ions Na4 NH4. उसके बाद these ions are formed in the soil and plants absorb them through their roots. Nitrate ions are more commonly taken up by the plant, but ammonium ions can also be used by some plant species. Number 2, 5 organic biomolecules that plants synthesize using nitrogen includes amino acids. These are the building blocks of proteins which are essential for many functions in the plant such as growth and development. Number 2, nucleic acids. These are the building blocks of DNA and RNA which are important for genetic information storage and regulations. Alkaloids. These are nitrogen containing compounds that can have toxic and medicinal properties. Number 4, alkaloids. Number 5, pigments. Some pigments such as chlorophyll contain nitrogen and are important for photosynthesis. तो नंबर 4 भी हम लोग का यहाँ पर खत्म हो गया. चलिए हम लोग नंबर 5 में चलते हैं. तो नंबर 5 का क्वेश्चन है. इसमें भी दो पार्ट्स है. द टेम्परेचर इन दिल्ली फॉल्स इवन 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस इन विंटर एंड मे गो अप टू 45 डिग्री सेल्सियस ड्यूरिंग समर्स, but our body temperature remains at 37 degrees Celsius. How do we make it possible? इसके बाद नंबर 2 में है डिफरेंट डिफाइन द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ homeostasis using the above example of the sentence or two. तो इसका आंसर है 1 का. द ह्यूमन बॉडी इज एबल टू मेंटेन अ कांस्टेंट बॉडी टेम्परेचर ऑफ 37 डिग्री सेल्सियस थ्रू अ प्रोसेस कॉल्ड thermoregulation. This is achieved through the combination of physiological and behavioral mechanisms that help the body either generate heat or dissipate it as needed. For example, when the body is cold, it will start to shiver in order to generate heat, and when it is hot, it will start to sweat in order to dissipate heat. Number 2. Homeostasis is the process by which the body maintains a stable internal environment in response to changes to in the external environment. In the example of the temperature in Delhi, reaching between 5 degree and Celsius and 45 degree Celsius, the human body is able to maintain a constant body temperature at 37 degree Celsius through thermoregulation, which is an example of homeostasis. तो हम लोग का नंबर 5 भी यहाँ पर खत्म हो चुका है. तो अब चलते हैं नंबर 6 में. तो नंबर 6, तो ये हम लोग का नंबर 6 में बहुत ही ज्यादा दिया हुआ है, लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, हम लोग कर लेंगे. ये नंबर 6 का ए है. कलेक्ट 10 प्लांट्स ऑफ योर चॉइस. Uproot them carefully so that their roots are not damaged, and press them between full escape papers and leave under the pile of books. Now find out from elders, teachers, gardeners, and commons and scientific means of the plants and record their description as follows. Number 1, common name. Common name, local in local or Hindi. Significant scientific name. Description, roots, stems, leaves, inflorescence, flowers, fruit, seeds, habitat, adaptation, utilization, medicinal, cosmetic, ornament, season when growing, collection site, month when collected, any other novel characteristic of characteristic features. You may use your book or botanic book or internet to describe types of the above mentioned parts. तो बिना किसी देरी के जल्दी से हम लोग इसको सॉल्व करते हैं, क्योंकि इसका आंसर थोड़ा सा लंबा होने वाला है. यहाँ तक तो क्वेश्चन था, यहाँ से हम लोग का आंसर होता है शुरू. Here are 10 plants that you could choose for the project. Common name rose, scientific name rosa, description roots, Roots plants have a shallow fibrous root system. The stems of rose plants are usually green but can also be brown or red. They are often armed with thorns. Leaves. Rose plants have simple alternate leaves that are typically green in the color. Inflorescence. Rose plants produce flower in the variety of colors including white, yellow, pink, red, and purple. The flowers are often arranged in the cluster of or individuals flower. Rose flowers have five petals and often fragrant fruit. Rose plants produce a fruit called a hip, which is type of berry seed. The seed of the rose plant are contained within the hips habitat. Rose plants are native to many parts of the world, including Europe, Asia, and North America. Adaptation. Rose plants have thrown and deter herbivores from eating their leaves and stems. They also produce fragrant flowers to attract pollination. Utility value. The rose plants are often grown for their ornamental value, and they are also used in the production of rose water, perfumes, and costumes. Season when growing. Rose plants typically grow best in spring and summer. Collection site. Rose plants can be found in gardens and natural areas. Month when collected. Rose plants can be collected at any time of year. Any other characteristic features. Rose plants are often associated with love and romance. Common name sunflower, scientific name Helianthus anus. Description. Roots. Sunflower plants have a deep taproot system. The stem of sunflower plants are green and upright leaves. Sunflower plants have large alternate leaves that are green on the top and white on the bottom. Inflorescent sunflower plants produce a single large flower at the top of the stem. Sunflower flowers have yellow petals and a large dark center made up of smaller flowers. Fruit. Sunflower plants produce a dry fruit called an archery, which contains a single seed. Sunflower seed are edible and are often used as a snack or in cooking. Habitat. Sunflower plants are native in North and South America but are now grown worldwide. Adaptation. Such sunflower plants have a tall upright growth habit to maximize their exposure to sunlight. Humidity value. Sunflower plants are grown for their edible seeds and their ornamental value. Seasons. When grows plants typically grow best in the summer. Collection site. The sunflower plants can found in gardens and fields. When collected. Sunflower plants can be collected at any time of the year. Any other characteristic features. Sunflower plants are known as their ability to track the movement of the suns across the sky. Common name tulip. Scientific name tulipa. Roots. Tulip plants are shallow, fibrous, and root system. The stem of tulip plants are upright and green. Leaves. Tulip plants have long, narrow leaves that are typically green in color. Inflorescence. Tulip plants produce a single cup shape flower at the top of the stem. Flower, the tulip flower, world wide range of colors including red, pink. तो आज का हम लोग का टीएमए यहीं पर खत्म होता है। अगर आपको अच्छा लगा तो लाइक कीजिए, अगर आपको कुछ इससे फायदा हुआ और आगे और भी चाहते हैं तो आप इसको सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अभी बहुत सारा टीएमए सॉल्व आना बाकी है। तब तक के लिए बाय।